if you got somebody following you and coming towards you, as he did in this instance, and this is a digital breakdown of the blurry vision that I'm going to show you today. The question that some people are saying, well, she shouldn't have shot him. She shouldn't have shot him. But then this is the question I want to ask everybody. Had she not shot this man, or let's say she didn't use a weapon and that she did not shoot him, right? Let's say she didn't have a handgun on her, but this man approached her and he put his hands on her. What kind of damage could he have done if there was no one there to stop him? And if she didn't have the strength to fight him off? Because in the video footage, he looked like he was angry, obviously, over something. Now, there was a guy, and I don't know how true this is. There was a black guy on one of the first news reports who said that he witnessed what happened, that there was a dispute between them in the parking lot of Walmart. He claimed that the guy was trying to make a pass at her, that he was trying to shoot his shot. That's what this brother said. I don't know how true that is because that's not what's being reported by the news and the police. She was attained, but she has been let go, and no charges so far have been levied on this woman, although they could be coming soon. But I think they're not levied because of the fact that she was standing her own ground in Florida, which has heavy laws around this. And maybe there were other witnesses that confirmed that this guy was harassing her when the police got there and put her under their custody, or at least put her, as you see right here, this is an example. This is a digitally enhanced copy of how the police came to her and had her against that white car right there. But she was let go. No charges were filed. When I play this, I'm not going to try to interject my opinions in terms of, oh, she's innocent. But what I am going to say is that when you look at the video, when I looked at the video, I just want to say this. When I looked at the video, and you're going to see the video tonight, or at least on this channel, you're going to see it. To me, it seemed like the guy should have left her alone. It appeared to me that he was following her. And this is another thing that people need to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep this in mind, okay? I want y'all to keep this other point in mind. We got situations going on today where we have sex trafficking. We have people that are kidnapping people. The latest news, I want y'all to hear what I'm about to say right now to you. The latest news that I know in terms of a scam that's being run at Walmart is that somebody will come up to you in a Walmart store and act like they work at Walmart and say, hey, your car is being broken into outside. And then they will walk outside with you, portraying themselves as a Walmart worker. And while they get you to your car, they have another crew of people. And at that point, they want to engage in either kidnapping you or stealing your car. So when you look at this and you say, well, she shouldn't have shot this guy, but this guy was following her back and forth. And we have documented evidence or information out there that people do snatch people up at these shopping centers. So you got to keep that in mind. She's a woman. He's a man. He's following her. She doesn't know him. You can clearly see that she's telling him to get away. At one point in time, he got away from, he moved back, and then he kept going forward, approaching her. So something was off about this guy. That's just from observation. Let's get into this right now. There was something off. I want you all to let me know what you think. Caught on camera. What happened next? He's lying down there. And you can tell she was keeping her distance away from him because he kept going forward towards her. So let's watch this. I appreciate those that are here. Let's get into this right now. What you came and what you're here for. Let's go. Now, I want y'all to clearly watch my points that I make here. He's constantly coming towards her. So in her mind, when it comes to stand your own ground laws in Florida, she said it was self-defense. In her mind, she feels that, hey, this guy is an intruder. He keeps coming forward. I'm telling him to stay away from me. Even though it doesn't have audio, you can clearly tell she wants him away from her. Let me play this from the beginning again. We're going to break this down surgically. He gets out of the car. Now, this is what people are saying right here. That why did she get out of her car? Folks, I'm not making any judgment. I'm just putting out there what is being said already. Because you can clearly see her right here get out of her car. My thing is, why get out of the car? How can I say this? If you're in your car, fucking just drive away. Get away. But check this out. See? Right there. I want to stop it. She gets out of the car. So that's the point that some of the people are saying out there that are saying, hey, this ain't self-defense. Why did she get out of her car if she felt threatened by this guy? Now watch this. She has the whipping in hand. He's coming over. See? Now, the question I want you all to ask yourself, if she has a weapon pointing towards him, why is he, the average person who's got something working upstairs is going to say, oh my God, a weapon, a firearm. Let me get out of here. Let me get away from her. But he seemed like he didn't really seem like he was feeling scared by her having the firearm because he kept approaching. Let's move this back here. Let's play this part again. You see how he went around the other car and kept circling like he was prowling? So he was prowling around the cars in this parking lot, going towards her. He has the gun in hand. She's still, here it comes.
Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
They had to block that little part out because, you know, for obvious reasons. But let me move this back, play this some more. He's approaching her. You know what? See? I stop it again. I'm going to get to the news report about this as well. But what I want y'all to see is that he kept circling around the cars, approaching her. Then he would stop. Then he would go forward. And then as he was going forward or walking around this parking lot, she constantly was keeping her distance. She had the gun pointed at him. Now, one can make an inference that she probably was telling him, get back, leave me alone. I'll shoot you. You know, I'll use my firearm. One can only guess what she was saying out of her mouth. Let's go back to this part here when she got out of the car. This is the area again that people say, why did she get out of the car? He's still standing there. At that point, when someone is pointing a firearm at me, I'm not going to walk around and follow them and continue. I'm getting the hell out of there. That's just what a intelligent person would do. You're not bulletproof. Hang on, folks. Right back at you again.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
Now, let me stop that right there. It was said that she didn't run off. She shot him with her firearm. Looked like she was dialing something on her phone. She didn't flee. She stayed there until they came and they put her under, within police custody. She is not in jail. She's not in prison. There is no, that I know of, there is no court date for anything. She has not been charged with anything that I know of so far. Will charges come? They could be coming. Let me read this to you right here, ladies and gentlemen. Right here. Breaking news. Despite a dispute over a parking space outside a Walmart in North Lauderdale, Florida. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't worth it to be arguing with people over no parking space and no damn parking lot. It really ain't worth it. It ain't worth the potential of you losing your life. In this case, this guy lost his life. She also was in a situation where this guy started following her all around. She felt, I guess, some safety issues and pulled out a firearm in a state that does allow you to have a weapon. And now she must have had her weapon lawfully because they would have arrested her had that weapon not been registered and so on and so forth. Let's continue with this. Over at parking space outside a Walmart in North Lauderdale, Florida, turned deadly when a 62-year-old man was fatally shot. According to Broward Sheriff Office, Bart I can't make out that last name. Bart was shot during a dispute with a woman in the parking lot. He was taken to a local hospital where he later died. Investigators say the woman stayed at the scene, cooperated with law enforcement. Okay, she cooperated. She didn't run off nowhere. She cooperated with law enforcement and claims she acted in self-defense. No charges have been filed at the time. As the investigation continues, the case will ultimately be reviewed by a Broward State Attorney Office. More information is expected as the investigation develops. And folks, we'll just see what's going to happen here. We're going to see what's going to happen here. What do you think already in the chat room? Was she wrong? Was she right? Let's go into a newsreel about this story because it's going to give you a couple more details right here. Check it out.
New questions about a deadly shooting outside of a Walmart.
A father of three losing his life over a parking spot. And tonight, the woman accused of shooting him claims that she fired in self-defense. Local 10's Rochelo spoke exclusively to the victim's daughter. He's live now in North Lauderdale with what the video shows. Rush.
So you just mentioned this, and this is important. This woman is claiming self-defense. She'll have to argue that she had a fear, an imminent fear for her life. Well, tonight we have the video, and you'll see it for yourself. And what we also have tonight are the words of the victim's daughter. And you'll see how heartbroken she is. The backstory on this case, she was estranged from her dad for many years. Recently, they were trying to rebuild their lives when he lost his life. We're going to start this with the video. The victim with the gray shirt. the woman with a gun. There is a standoff and then the shooting. You can hear it.
He was a good man.
That's the daughter.
A daughter in tears. Amanda lost her 62-year-old father, Bart, shot in the stomach in a Walmart parking lot in North Lauderdale.
I just don't think anybody deserves to lose their life over a parking spot.
Cops say an adult female and the victim were involved in a verbal altercation over a parking space in the Walmart parking lot prior to the shooting.
I don't like to deal with death and talk about it at all. That's why I was very hesitant.
I hear you. We say right here, the Wife Scoop podcast says she should have left. That man was a senior citizen. But let me ask you this question, sister. Why would he continue to follow her? You got to keep this in mind. We're living in times today where you've got people in parking lots grabbing people up, snatching people up, weird people in parking lots. So I get what you're saying. She should have left them alone. Now, the question people are saying is, why did she even get out of her car? Obviously, there must have been some dispute, some back and forth, and people let their emotions get the worst of them. But part of the problem is that, yes, he's a 62-year-old man, but shouldn't a 62-year-old man know better? I'm just asking a question. I'm just here to ask the questions. Shouldn't a 62-year-old man know better than to follow and chase after someone that he does not know, he has no relations to, a 62-year-old man that was following a woman who clearly had a firearm in her hands, pointing it at him? Wouldn't a 62-year-old senior citizen, or he's not even a senior citizen, you're not technically a senior citizen until after 65 or 65 years of age, but he's 62. He's up there, he's not a chicken, young chicken anymore. But wouldn't a man of that age and experience have enough sense to know, oh my God, the woman has pulled out a firearm. Let me get out of here and call the authorities. Let me go back into Walmart and tell someone, hey, this woman out here has a weapon. Wouldn't a 62-year-old man, what is a 62-year-old man in the first place doing, following this woman around? And you can make the argument, well, maybe they both didn't show maturity by arguing with each other in the parking lot, right? You would think he would have better sense of himself too as well. They both should have just left each other. Look, I feel like she should have just gotten her car and just kept going. Or just went to the damn store. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right.
This interview.
But you are doing it. Why do you want to speak about your dad?
Because I want my dad to be remembered for who he was and not who the media is portraying him to be.
According to investigators, the shooter, the adult female, remained on scene, cooperated with detectives, and she told them the shooting was in self-defense.
He loved his country. He loved his country.
Bart served in the military. There are no charges in this case at this point. Amanda says she was estranged from her dad for many years, but recently they were working on repairing their relationship. And just like that, a life lost. And throughout the interview, you can see the pain on her face.
He moved down here 3 years ago with the intentions on rebuilding the relationship.
And during the time we spoke with Amanda, the daughter, she kept repeating to me, over a parking spot, nobody deserves to lose their life over a parking spot. I want to mention this again, no charges at this point. The investigation is ongoing.
Everybody, what is your opinion? I'm going to look at your comments in the, excuse my voice tonight. I'm going to look at your comments in the chat room. I agree. We can't be losing our life over a parking space. However, we don't have all the details because this is still under investigation. I'm sure they're going to be interviewing tons of people that witnessed this, that were in the Walmart parking lot, coming into Walmart, leaving Walmart. So there may be some other twist to this that we don't even know. because we had one cat, like I told you, I should have played that video too, prepared that video. There was one guy who I think he made a claim that this guy was trying to shoot his shot at her. Now that might just be some cap that he was talking. But we clearly see him walking towards her when she pointed the weapon. And to me, as a 56-year-old man, if someone's pointing a weapon at me, I'm not going to be continuing to walk towards them. I'm not going to walk around cars and still go towards them and then back. I'm getting out of the situation altogether. That's me. So that's the thing that boggles my mind, that why did he continue to even stay within the space where she was with that weapon, knowing that there was a potential that she could fire the arm at him? And then I have to say, to be very honest here, why is it that she even got out of the car in the first place? As I got to be honest here. See? Right there. How about just drive off? I know this may not sound popular what I'm saying to some people, but I'm just wondering, why couldn't she have just driven off? Just leave. See, she's getting out the car. And then when she got out of the car, she has the firearm in her right arm. Looks like her right arm is hanging down. This is where they may get her in court. This is where it may not go well for her in court if a prosecutor will be able to flush that out more in terms of what made her, because that's the question they're going to ask. What made you get out your car? If there was a dispute between you and this person, why get out of your car? Why not just drive away and get away from the circumstance? Or is there more to it? Is there more to it? And if a person is following you, another question you got to ask, why didn't this woman, I'm just asking questions, everybody. Why didn't she go straight into, this is my question right here. Why didn't she just go back into the Walmart and tell people in Walmart, I've got a man out here, a crazy man out here that's following me. He's making me feel uncomfortable. I feel threatened by him, right? That's another question. Could she have just gone back into the Walmart? And even if he followed her towards the Walmart, she could have made noise. She could have alerted someone and say, hey, this man is messing with me. This man is following me in the parking lot, blah, blah, blah. And maybe that would have scared him off. Maybe they could have called I don't know, everybody. These are just questions I'm asking because it's a hell of a situation. I'm just asking, see, why would he, you see right there, why would he, again, on the flip side of this, why would Bart follow her? I mean, not follow. Why would he walk towards her knowing she had a weapon? And then you're going to see him walk around the car. I'm going to play this some more before we end this because I have some more details to tell you. And then right here, she's pointing the weapon at him. Clearly, they're arguing. And then watch. She moves away from there. He's going to walk around that car. Watch. Walks around the car. And he's following her over here. See? And she's still pointing the weapon at. I got to stop it right there. This another thing. Why is a 62-year-old man who already sees a woman? What's up, Bart? Why are you following her around another car? She's still pointing the firearm at you because either he didn't think that she had the guts to pull the trigger. Maybe in his mind, oh, this woman ain't going to really fire that weapon at me. She's just going to try to scare me with the weapon. Maybe that's what he was thinking. But then again, why are you following a woman, someone that you don't know? And then why did she even get out of her car in the first place when she could have driven off or ran back into the Walmart and asked for people to help her because she's got a weirdo out there following her? I'm just asking the questions, ladies and gentlemen. You guys give me the answers. Before I go into the chat room and hear your answers, hear your thoughts, this is what I think is helping her right now from not being in custody of law enforcement. And here we go right here. Let's go with the first one right here. So as you see right here, ladies and gentlemen, this is in Florida. Florida stand your own ground laws. Okay. They go like this. Stand your own ground laws in Florida let you use force, including deadly force, to defend against several threats. Okay, what are those threats, ladies and gentlemen? You do not have to try to escape or retreat. So maybe that's going to work in her favor when she got out of her car, because it says right here, you do not have to try to escape and retreat. So when I was saying, hey, why didn't she just stay in her car? Then maybe a lawyer in court can make the argument that she didn't have to stay in her car. Check this out. She get out of her car. Boom. We're breaking it down scientifically here. So then does that, her getting out of her car, ladies and gentlemen, as I'll go into the chat room and read your thoughts in a moment, but I just have to set this up properly. Her getting out of the car now, does that negate anyone such as myself or anybody on social media or anybody saying, well, she shouldn't have never got out of her car, when we're not dealing with California? We're not dealing with some of these states that don't have stand your own ground. We're dealing with Florida, where you have the right to bear arms and you do not have to try to escape or retreat if you are legally where you have the right to be. Uh-oh. So one can make the argument that she had nothing but the right to be in this parking lot near her car. She had the right to get out of her car. She had the right to get into her car. She had the right to be where she was, which would shoot through the argument, ladies and gentlemen. I guess that would shoot through the argument that she should have gotten in her car, stayed in her car, and left. She should have, one, not got out of her car in the first place, or she should have got in her car and tried to speed out of there. Well, according to Florida stand your own ground law, she didn't have to do any of that. She didn't have to escape. She didn't have to retreat. I'm reading the law, folks. She had the right to remain exactly where she was, ladies and gentlemen.
Information is power.
She had the right to be and remain where she is. You have the right to be. Now, the stand your own ground law also permits you this ability. The law provides legal immunity, stopping your arrest or prosecution. That's probably why she was not arrested. When we heard the reporter say near the end of his report that there was no arrest made, let's hear that part again. Let's hear that part again. Check it out.
Amanda, the daughter, she kept repeating to me, over a parking spot, over a parking spot. Nobody deserves to lose their life over a parking spot. I want to mention this again. No charges at this point. The investigation is ongoing.
There's no charges because, as I read the law provides legal immunity, stopping your arrest or prosecution unless the state clearly proves your actions were unlawful. Know your rights, protect yourself, know the law. So the law, in this case, worked in her favor. Another CG. Good to see you here. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. Good to see a picture of what you look like. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat.
And she needs to sue the news and jury tampering. Interesting, brother. Thank you for the super chat. So this is what I'm going to do for you for that super chat because, I appreciate that. And here we go.
Thank you for the super chat.
Time to run it off. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip. This. Wet. Time to run it off. No sleep. No rest. Might crash. Might wreck. But first. first I stretch, time to run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check. No drip, this time to run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch, time to run it up. 9 out of 10, roll through my hands,
All right, everybody. Thank you. So I've read you the law. For those of you who say, because I made the statements too. Why did she get out of her car? Why didn't she zoom away? I also made the statement. Why didn't she run back into Walmart and say, hey, I got a weirdo out here messing with me, right? Because the laws in Florida protect her. She had the right to not to retreat. She had the right to stand her ground where she was. She did not have to leave. If this had happened in California, then she would probably be under arrest right now. If this happened in a state where there's no stand your own ground, and I'm curious to see how this whole case plays out or how the situation plays out, because so far we haven't really seen stand your own ground work for a lot of black people. Okay. And we know it has worked for our white counterparts and other groups of that nature. This guy is a white Hispanic, and we got to see how this plays out. I'm also curious to know, why was he estranged from his daughter? I find that interesting because she kept saying he was a decent man, but this was a decent man that she was estranged from for quite some time. Just kind of curious. That's just a side note of curiosity I have about this situation, y'all. But let me read another part of the law here before I get to your comments. And here we go. Florida stand your own ground law. I want to emphasize this, folks. No duty to retreat. If you are not doing anything illegal and are in a place you are legally allowed to be, you do not have to back down from a threat. So she did not have to get in her car, because people would say, well, if she would have stayed in her car, she would have been safe from the danger of this guy. But out there, it's a different beast. She didn't have to do that, even though I'm thinking that way myself. And maybe some of you are thinking the same thing. Another point to remember, deadly force rules in Florida. You can use or threaten deadly force if you reasonably believe it is necessary to prevent intimate danger, several bodily harm, or to stop a forcible felony like robbery or burglary. So she can make an argument in court. Hey, I didn't know this man. For all I know, he might have tried to rob me, Your Honor. She can really stand on that, because here you got a guy walking around following her, and she don't know. She doesn't know if this guy is trying to grab her, like kidnap her. She doesn't know if he's trying to rob her of her possessions or whatever. So you see how the law works in Florida and how it works. If it works for her, deadly force, you can use or threaten deadly force if reasonable believe that you are in imminent danger, because you want to stop a forcible felony like someone trying to rob you or burglary or whatever, breaking in your car, whatever. So this is what I think is gonna protect her if she's got the right lawyer, I should say, if this even goes to court. And then of course you see her right there being apprehended by the police authorities. But like I said, they end up letting her go. She's not in a prison or a jail cell at this time at all. So what do you all think? Come to your understanding, come to your conclusions before I end this show. Let's see what you're saying in the chat room right now. I appreciate the super chats once again from another CG. Thank you, brother. Let me see. Push that right there. Okay. We've got Moore says this. Let me see this. See. Jerome Moore says another person told the lady the man was still in the parking lot, which is one reason she could have grabbed her firearm. She warned the man. Okay, so it looks like this. Maybe I should have explained this. It looks like they might have had an argument with each other prior to going into the Walmart. And then maybe when she went to her car, he was following her out, maybe something of that nature. Is that where you're getting at? That's interesting that people told her that he was right. So if he's still out there now, someone will make the argument, okay, if she was told that he was out there waiting for her, how did she manage to get into her car without him harming her to pull out a weapon? And I would say, forget all of that, because I just read you the Florida law. She had the right to not retreat. She had the right to not escape. She had the right to stand her ground. She had the right to grab her firearm because she didn't know what this guy was potentially could do to her. And ask yourself this, folks, if she didn't have the firearm, because I brought this up before, if she didn't have the firearm, I wonder if he would have ran up on her even more. I think the fact that he kind of backed a little bit off a little bit was mainly because of that firearm. Imagine if she didn't have that firearm, would he had rushed her? And then if he would have got his hands on her and harmed her, then everybody would be saying, oh, she should have had a weapon. This is why you have the right to bear arms. This is why you should have a weapon, because you got people out there that would harm you. See, it could go that way if she had no weapon and he put hands on her and broke her bones or grabbed her up. Or what if he snatched her up and kidnapped her? Then everybody would be saying, oh my God, if she only had a weapon to petite. It can go either way, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now let's read some more stuff in here again. It's reasonable to believe that the man intended to physically harm her just by the footage alone, and he could overpower her if he put hands on her. Exactly what I was just saying. Thank you very much.
Tell the truth.
Exactly where I'm trying to get at. So I think the fact that she had the weapon, even though I thought it was crazy that he was still following her and still trying to approach her, I think if she hadn't had that firearm, he might have, there's a potential that he could have gotten closer and got his hands on her. And then what? You see, even though I have to agree, we can't be arguing over parking spaces in a damn Walmart parking lot of all places. Come on. My man, the real Aaron Collins is in the house. What's up?
Tell the truth.
Peace to you, my brother. Peace to you. Peace and respect to you. Let me see. The man was aggressor and assumed he disarmed. Right. Now, what if he would have disarmed her? It could have turned out even probably, well, it turned out bad because he lost his life. But I don't know. It's so many ways you can look at this. Let me see. Williams Martin says it comes down to attitude. Never put yourself in situations if possible. Yeah, I agree. You don't want to put yourself in a bad situation. Let me see what Tina is saying here. Judging by the temperature of how race relations is going in his country, I'm happy this sister is okay. All right. All right. And then she said this right here. Tina says this right here. Walmart is very low vibrational. Yeah. Tell me. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna be bougie here, but yeah, Walmart is very low vibrational. You absolutely right about that. My man DOD is in the house. He knows my man Aaron. He knows my man very well, the real Aaron Collins. Peace to you, DOD. Thank you for coming over, brother, and supporting the channel as always. Let me hear. We got another CG who says this. Another CG says the news is trying to make it look like she walked up and just shot him over a parking spot. No, that's exactly what she didn't do. I'm just simply saying is that, hey, we got to try to figure out ways to not get ourselves in situation or not to get into arguments over a parking spot. However, you're right. She didn't just see him and say, pow, pow, right? It seemed like there was something more to this. Now, this is the thing that's key. This is key. Let's say they had the argument, and this happens, and this is what I believe could be the case, right? Let's say they had the argument and he went into the Walmart just like her, still angry, left the Walmart before her, stayed in the parking lot waiting for her to come out because he wanted to get even with her. And then maybe she finds out, oh, he's in the parking lot, or she sees him in the parking lot peppering her with words, and she pulls out her piece to let him know she ain't a punk. She ain't to be played with. You see what I'm saying? That's very, 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 very possible. Let me see right here. We got my brother right here, NSL coming in the house saying she ain't lying. I drove for Walmart. Oh my God. Hey, brother. So it's true. Walmart is very low vibrational, and I believe that myself too. Okay, William Martin says this. Willis Martin, let me say it correctly. I'm sorry. Willis Martin says these words: people are becoming more and more unhinged. I do my best to stay away. Be there, done it. That, yeah. Be there, done that. Yeah. Folks, we got to be careful today because we're living in a society where we don't know what people are capable of doing. Okay. And we got some weird people out here. And if she felt threatened by this man, then she did have every right to do what she did if she felt threatened. My problem with this is that I see an issue here, which is he kept following her. That will work in her behalf. And I must say again to everybody out there that says, why didn't she drive away? Because I said it. And I stand corrected. Why didn't she drive away? Why did she get out of her car? Because I said those things. Why didn't she go into the Walmart? The law protects her from all of those things that you just said. The law in Florida, and she must know the law. She must know the law based on what she did. The law in Florida says you ain't got to do all of that. You ain't got to retreat. Because by her staying in the car and running off or driving off, that would be considered as escaping from the situation or retreating. Now, morally, you could say more on a moral level, because the man lost his life, you could say, hey, if she just would have gotten her car, stayed in her car and drove off, then that man would be alive. But then you can flip that and say, well, he could be alive himself and he just left her alone and stopped following her, stopped approaching her. And another thing that makes it look really bad is that he knew that she had a firearm. So it wasn't like he approached her, she pulled it out and said, bam, 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 poo, 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 poo. No, he watched her point the weapon at him for quite some time. So one can make an argument that he should have ran off himself. But guess what? He must know the law too. It goes both ways here because he stood, I guess, from his point of view. Let's say this guy would have survived this and he wouldn't have passed away. I guarantee you that this man, because we're in Florida, he and his lawyers would have used the same argument that he had the right to stand his ground. Unless they would prove that, no, you weren't standing your own ground, Bart. You were harassing and stalking the woman and prowling around the cars and prowling around her car. That would be the argument that you would make against any lawyer that represented him if he was alive. Or if the daughter and the family takes a civil suit or a murder case against this woman, then the argument could be, was this man really standing his ground against this woman? Or was he the perpetrator from the very beginning? And therefore he was the one prowling and walking after her. And therefore the stand your own ground doesn't work for him or won't work on his behalf, because he seemed to be the one that was prowling, walking towards her, following her around cars, waving his hands up and down. Shit like that. Take that audio off of there and just let y'all look at that. You see, he walks over there. Look how he's moving. Now, it makes me wonder, was he on drugs or something? See, that's another thing. When they do the autopsy on this guy, they're going to have to check his blood levels. Was he drunk? And that's why I'm wondering why he was estranged from the daughter. Was it because he has a drinking problem, a drug problem? Because the way he's walking and wailing around after this woman, maybe he was under the influence of something, y'all. Maybe.
Tell the truth.
What do y'all think? Could he have been under the influence of something that made him act this silly way? I'm very curious what y'all think. Because obviously, a whipping, as you see right there, was involved. They said that she fired her whipping at him and it hit him in the stomach. He went to the hospital and he didn't make it. She did not fire. This is another thing you got to look at if this ever goes to court. She didn't fire multiple bullet casings. You see all these bullet casings up here? She didn't fire. It wouldn't have been. She didn't fire that whip, that firearm like 5, 6, 10 times. She didn't go pop, 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 pop. She just popped it one time. If she would have riddled him with a whole bunch of, then you could say, hey, she was obsessive in her force. She was obsessive because she already popped him once. And so the police, we're going to see what the police are going to be cooking up in this situation with this woman. We'll see what they're going to be cooking up. It's crazy, y'all. Let me go back into the chat room and see what you're saying here. All right. All right, Barbie, let's see. I don't have enough information for that, but I feel like she did not have to get back out of the car. I have a problem with life being taken. Yeah, I hear you. But but I don't know how long you've been in my stream. I was saying that she probably should have stayed in the car. I was wondering why she got out of her car. But according to Florida law, you don't have to retreat. You don't have to escape. That's why, when you live in these type of states, you live in these type of places, there's certain things you don't have to do. And it says right there, you have no duty to retreat. If you are not doing anything illegal and are in a place you are legally allowed to be, you do not have to back down from a threat. And you can use deadly force if you think someone's about to harm you. To reinforce this again, in Florida, they let you use force, including deadly force, to defend against severe threats. You do not have to try to escape, retreat. If you are legally where you have the right to be, one can make the argument, or she will make the argument if this ever goes to court. She can make the argument that she had the right to be in that parking lot because she was there shopping at Walmart. And she had the right to be able to walk to her car safely. She had the right to get out of her car and not retreat because she saw the man as a threat to her. Even though we may say in our mind, hey, why would you just not drive off? In Florida, she can exercise that law. Even though morally, we don't want to see life get taken away. Morally, we may say, hey, this is wrong. Why are people arguing over a parking space or a parking lot? Why are people pulling out firearms, right? Morally, we could say that. Morally, on a moral level, we could say it's wrong. But the law of the land of Florida says, no. You can stay exactly where you are and you can hold your ground and you can go pop, 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 or pop one time if someone you think is going to harm you. And another thing, I got to be honest, he also put himself in danger. He put himself in danger just as much as her getting out that car, but he put himself in danger when he clearly saw that the woman had a weapon. That when he saw that she clearly had a weapon in her hand that could take him out of here. And that's just the facts. Even if we don't like the facts, but it's just the facts.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
You can see him cussing as he took the hit from her. Now she's on her phone, look like she's calling somebody. She stays there. She never retreats. She never runs off. And here comes the police to put her in handcuffs. But she's not in prison. She's not in county jail. They had to let her go. There's been no charges filed against her. There's no anything. And they were investigating by talking to the witnesses to what happened. The whole thing is a shame, y'all. It's a shame. It's a shame. There she is, getting out of that car. I think I've made my case tonight in terms of what the law says about these situations. And then he lunges. I think, again, the autopsy report, I wonder if the man had drugs in his system. Come on, y'all. Was he under the influence? Then somebody can make the same argument. Was she under the influence of something? See, this can go all kind of ways, y'all. Was she under the influence? Or was it him that was under the influence? Because to me, he was the one that was walking and lurking and prowling around the parking lot towards her. That did not seem like the behavior of a normal behaving guy on that day. You let me know. I'm just asking the questions. You give me some answers. Great question. Yeah, I'm just asking questions. Y'all give me some answers. We got sister right here again. She says he had criminal record too. Oh, he had a criminal record? Oh, I'm going to have to look into that. And see, that's just the thing, my sister. The daughter has been estranged. She's been restrained from the guy. The daughter hadn't seen this man. That was her father. The daughter and the father were apart from each other. And that's why I kept asking the question earlier. I wonder why their relationship went sour where she hadn't seen him. Although they said that he moved to Florida to try to rebuild the relationship in his life. So maybe she stopped messing with him because, like you said, sister, he had a criminal background. He was criminal minded. And maybe she was like, I can't have him in my life. And maybe he came to Florida to change his life. And maybe, just maybe, I'm just saying maybe, I didn't say facts. Maybe them criminal instincts came right back and played a role in all of this nonsense like this. It just might be the case, my sister. And then he's still following her around the car. Look he's still talking to her. He might have been high on something. He might be a drunk. That might look. What other reasons? Look, and she's trying to get away from him, but he's still walking over there. See? He's still walking over there towards her. See? Right there. And so we know on a domestic front that a lot of men, when they have a falling out with family, like a daughter or son, we can make arguments that it could be because they've got a drug problem, they got an alcohol problem. Drugs and liquor have ruined many family relations, and y'all know I'm telling the truth.
Tell the truth.
Let's go back in the chat room and see what y'all saying. Super Mike has come over, and he says military training is something else. Right, now, maybe because of his military background, do you think he has some PTSD? Right? Because they did say he had a military background, so I wonder if something messed him up in the military too. I'm just saying, I'm just wondering why was he doing this? She says, absolutely right. The military can mess you up. Miss T, let me see, Mr. T12, let me see, put his name in Florida criminal records online to see his history. I'm going to check that out. I kind of wished I would have looked into that before I did this stream so I could bring those receipts to you. But you know what? Maybe I'll do maybe I'll do a YouTube short, and I'll do a 3-minute YouTube short where I'll drop those receipts because I don't know if y'all like it, but I've been producing original shorts, not stuff that I've cutting from my regular videos, but I've been uploading original content and I've been making my shorts 3 minutes long. Maybe I'll do a background on him and display that through a 3-minute YouTube short that y'all can watch. What's going on, my man, Mr. DJ Music?
Tell the truth.
You said he had a Trump deranged syndrome in his system. Yeah, he probably had a Trump derangement syndrome. I wonder if he was a Cuban, because you know you got a lot of Cubans in Florida, and a lot of them voted for Trump. We will vote for Donald Trump, okay? I'm just saying. But look. At the end of the day, we don't want to see life lost. It's terrible when people lose their life. We don't want to see life lost. As much as I have different opinion about the Carmelo Anthony situation, still at the same time, a life was lost. We know there was some creepy things going on in that case, right? But at the end of the day, a life is lost. We don't want people losing life over very trivial situations. But at the same time, there was some fishy things, in my opinion, in that whole Carmelo Anthony situation. But to get back on topic here, let me go and read this right here. I heard the audio. She warned him 2 to 3 times more than she had to, and he would not stop coming at her. Grace is what she gave him. And you know what? I agree with you, because even though I don't have the audio of her, you can clearly tell when she was pointing a whipping at him. You know what people naturally do. They say, hey, you better back up. I don't want to have to pop you. You better back up. I told you to back up. You know that she was giving him that kind of flavor. You know that she gave him that flavor. Just listen to it right now. See? And then he walks over really weird. While the whipping is out, what person does that? And that fits into what you're saying about, look, as you said, Rena, you said that you heard the audio, and on the audio, she told him 2 or 3 times to back the F up. And he didn't do so. He would not stop, and he kept approaching. And that's where she can have the argument under the laws of Florida that she was standing her own ground. She had the right not to retreat or not to escape, and that she felt intimate danger. And one, as I said before, she didn't know if this man was about to rob her, snatch her up for sex trafficking or whatever. She didn't know. She didn't know, and this is why he got popped. And once again, we don't like to see life get taken away, but hell, man, who does that? Who follows a person who's